Hello, everybody, and welcome. Wanted to take some time this evening, taking a break from grading some science labs, and got the Nick game on here at the home office to fill you in on what we'll be doing Thursday morning in science lab. So this is for Thursday, October 21st. If you take a look at our agenda, we're going to start off with science problem of the day, and we will check that together. After our science problem of the day, we're going to go ahead and review Wednesday's practice and exit ticket. I know a couple of the groups didn't get to start the practice. We're going to go through it, and once I see that everybody understands it, we'll go ahead and take that break and put it aside so we get to our lab. We could always come back to that. If you guys are showing me you have it after two problems, that's where we'll take it. Okay, so we'll go over that practice and the exit ticket and then go into our sim bucket lab. And you'll see on there that it's graded. I don't want you to panic about that. I'll go ahead and explain that to you as we go through. But let's go ahead and take a look at the sim bucket lab. You have the paper here. And as always, you can go ahead and pop it out into a new window just by clicking that arrow. So let's take a look at that new window. And the sim bucket tutorial is on density. We have the directions right at the top. And here is the link that you will click on to access the link you will click on to access the tutorial itself. The tutorial, when you open up the window, will look like this. We'll come back here in a second. Looking at the directions, it says the first thing we want to do is click on turn the fluid into water. So I'm going to come to the density lab tutorial and I will take you through those steps, but I want you to read those steps as you're going through. You're going to have a hard copy of this at your desk. People that are working at home could print it out, or you could use multiple windows to go through it. Write your answers in your notebook. If you want to type up your answers and email them to me, that's great. You can always write them in your notebook and send me a picture of your responses so I can give you feedback on it. In the lab, the first thing we want to do, I'm going to reset it because this is what it will look like when you first come in. And you'll notice the fluid density is 2.5 grams per milliliter. Well, the directions said click on turn fluid into water because we know that water has a density of 1 gram per milliliter. So I'm going to click on that and you'll see the density here goes to 1 gram per milliliter, and that's where we're going to start. When you click on each item on your chart is listed here. So these are each of the samples you're going to use. When we click on gold, you'll see the piece of gold sinks right to the bottom of the beaker. The next step then, you'll take a look and read what the new final volume is here. You'll put that in your chart and then subtract it from the original volume. You'll see I've already put in all the original volumes for you. They've already been put in at 25.5 milliliters. So just like in our practice, you will subtract to get the volume of that object, in this case, the gold that you just put in. Once you have that volume measured, you're going to pull the gold out and drag it over and drop it onto the scale. And it will tell you the mass of that gold. And then you'll take that. So as you see, you'll record, does the gold sink or float? What is the final volume? Here's the starting volume. Subtract and give the volume of the substance itself. Record the mass of the substance after you drop it on the scale. And then density equals mass divided by volume. Go ahead and calculate what is the volume in grams per milliliter, excuse me, the density in grams per milliliter of the gold. You're going to do that for each of the objects, including the mystery object, and answer those analysis questions. As you're doing this, you could do this with a partner at your table. As always, just keep the discussion to the table. I'll be circulating around to help you out and ask any questions that you have. The next part says you're going to place the substances from the table in order if they were placed in a graduated cylinder with water to make a density column. So in this case, you're kind of rank ordering the substances from the least dense to the most dense. Okay, so you pause and think, if it has higher density, where would it be in the graduated cylinder? Okay, go ahead and record them there. And then we have another example of a density column. This time, this density column is made with liquids. Now, tomorrow, we're going to do another lab where you and your partners are actually going to create a density column with 3 different liquids. So this is a nice segue to that activity. Just using this density column and the information on this density column, answer these questions. It says, for each row, circle the object with the highest density. If both objects have the same density, then circle same density. So from 1 to 7, use this density column. These are liquids if they were put in a graduated cylinder together. Okay. And then use your general knowledge of density to answer questions 8 through 12. You'll be turning this into me. I will be going ahead and giving you feedback on it and returning it to you. Now, when we say it's graded, yeah, I'll put a grade on it along with some feedback and turn it back to you. At that point, you can go ahead and take a look and make some changes. If you make changes, make sure you tell me why you're making those changes and resubmit it to me. Yes, for full credit, the object is that you're learning, going through and understanding what you're doing. It's not about getting the right answer the first time. It's about working for understanding. So you can go ahead then and resubmit at that time. That's why I said don't panic when you see graded on there. And that is what we will be doing tomorrow. This, in fact, will be your exit ticket when you turn it in. So when you come into class, you want to make sure that we're getting started right away on that spot. We'll go over the practice from yesterday so you have as much time as you need to do the SimBucket lab. And let me come on back. And that is it for Thursday, October 21st. I say that's it, but I know it's a lot. You guys can handle it. This will set us up nicely for our lab tomorrow on Friday, where you and your group will be creating a density column with 3 different liquids. Thank you very much, guys. I look forward to working with you. See you in the morning.